Hey guys, Flamin' Shark back with another video. Taking guys another blind commentary, blind reaction. We're reacting to the World of Remnant on Fanus. I am actually watching this the day you see it. I'm watching it at 2 o'clock, so you're going to get it kind of late. But the reason I just never got to it, but I know it's about Fanus. That's the title. And if you guys don't know, Fanus and Religion are the two World of Remnants I've been asking for. So the fact that we're getting one of them is incredible, and this is the one that's super overdue. Although given the timing, it will obviously follow the pattern that has been the pattern that has kind of always existed in World of Remnants, but is more prevalent now than ever, which is you get a World of Remnant, and then the next episode is going to directly relate to it. The reason I say this is because if you look at the World of Remnants, if you look at, like, say, the last World of Remnant was Between Kingdoms, and we learned about the bandits, and then the very next episode, which was Family, we learned that Raven was the leader of that tribe of bandits that attacked Shion Village. And then now we're getting Fanus, which means that we are finally in Chapter 5. I thought we would have gotten there by now, but regardless, it will be exciting. This is going to be Sun and Blake getting to Menagerie, which is Fanus' kingdom. It's not technically a kingdom, but, you know, I mean, I guess Menagerie, from what I gather, is maybe similar to Vacuo in the sense that it's not really a kingdom, it's its own, it's more wild, even though Vacuo technically is a kingdom. Although, we'll see. It actually might be a lot more chill than Vacuo, to be honest. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure there's a lot of white fang potatoes in Menagerie. Perhaps Blake will somehow get tied into that later in the volume, if we are to believe that Adam and Blake will have another encounter anyways. And yeah, it should be an interesting time, and I'm really curious to see where this goes. And yeah, I'm just really excited for to learn about Fanus. I want to know the origin of Fanus. Maybe that could actually be spoilerific, honestly, depending on where this story goes. But, I mean, and I'm not talking about this volume, I mean the overall story of RWBY. The origin of Fanus might be unknown, and that might be on purpose. But that gets into some of my more crazy RWBY theories. But I do want to get an idea of what exactly Fanus are. Because obviously they're similar to humans, they have animalistic qualities, though, and I'm not sure, yeah, like, we need to know more about Fanus. We just need to know more. And I'm really curious how RT is going to explain all this. And I'll have a link in the description to this video since I guess they're not posting their World of Remnants on YouTube anymore, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. They didn't do it with Between Kingdoms, and it looks like they're not going to do it with this one either. Anyways, RWBY Volume 4 World of Remnants, Fanus will commence in 3, 2, 1, and play. RWBY World of Remnant. 15 seconds. Fanus. Alright, let's see what we got. This should be interesting. Oh, crap.
You know, most of us spend a lot of time talking about mankind versus Grimm.
What about mankind versus Fanus? Oh!
There is a third party in the mix.
The Fanus War?
The Fanus.
Yep.
In case you're not in the know,
we are.
Fanus are a species on Remnant that appear to be human in just about every way. Every way but one.
Yep.
Each Fanus has a single animalistic trait.
So it's always one.
Some more apparent than others.
Yeah.
Lamb horns, tiger claws, cat ears.
Yeah, hi Blake.
I swear, on my huntsman's license, I once saw a guy regrow his severed lizard tail.
Jeez, that's awesome.
No amount of drinking can make you forget that pretty picture.
Nice, Crow.
As far as everyone's aware, Fanus have been around as long as mankind, if not a little longer.
Ooh.
History gets a little fuzzy past a certain point.
Of course.
We do know that their kind and ours are completely compatible from a biological standpoint.
They can fucking make babies, in other words.
Take two wolf Fanus, and you get a little wolf cub kiddo. A wolf Fanus and a human also typically means your little bundle of joy's teething phase could get a little dicey.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
But if you take a wolf Fanus and a bull Fanus, for example, it's a complete roll of the dice.
Ah!
Oh, you know you could be cleaning up your son's shedded snake skin. Ugh. Scientists are still scratching their heads when it comes to, well,
What?
a lot about
Interesting.
Faunus. But science isn't
That's an interesting detail.
It's how we all get along. Or in this case, how we don't. Early man was scared to death of the Faunus.
We know.
Honestly, it's not too hard to sympathize with that. Seeing something that looks like you and acts like you walk out of the forest and reveal a pair of fangs can be a little upsetting.
But of course, mankind overreacted.
Most things man doesn't understand. All sorts of rumors and stories surround the Faunus.
Yeah, that's mankind for you.
Pushing them out of settlements and sometimes even hunting them down.
Yikes. That's dark, but true. Man began to
outnumber the Faunus, and the Faunus began to consider man nothing more than a hostile species. Can't really
Fair enough. Yeah,
These
exactly,
clashes
Crow.
between species were unavoidable, as land that was safe from the Grim was in constant short supply.
Yeah.
But it was the Grim that finally brought humans and Faunus together for the first time. A village in Fanus fell under attack, and the only reason anyone survived was because the humans and Faunus united against their common enemy.
So that was the start.
It was a step in the right direction, but it didn't fix everything. Once humanity learned they weren't so different from the Faunus, they still used those differences as an excuse to exploit and alienate them.
Yep.
The treatment of the Faunus differed around the world, and things wouldn't improve much for them until the Great War.
Yeah.
Vale and Vacuo against Mantle and Mistral. A war unlike anyone had ever seen.
Now we know the sides!
The world was...
Oh, fuck off! Okay, I'm actually gonna pause it right here. Holy shit, guys. So it was Vale and Vacuo against Mantle and Mistral, and that makes perfect sense. Because Mistral is the high society, low society, so it would make sense that they had, you know, would use slave labor for their, you know, to help with their architecture and their theater and their fashion, all that shit. And Atlas, do I need to even say anything? They're, to be honest, Atlas is like oh man. Yeah, Atlas was very militaristic, and it makes sense that they have their own reasons for that. And then Vacuo would obviously be on the Faunus side, and Vale is the odd man out, and that makes sense because Vale seems to be a rather forward-thinking place for the most part, from what I've seen. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. We have never gotten details on the Great War at all. Just the fact that we know who was fighting who is great to know. And that also explains why, you know, I mean, there can always be tension. I mean, even now, after all these years, there's the tension between Vale and Atlas because they were on opposite sides of the war. So, I'm going to assume the war was a still. I'm going to assume it wasn't a actual victory for Vale and Vacuo. It just doesn't seem... Because honestly, the powerhouses... I would say powerhouse number one's Atlas, and after Atlas, I'd probably say Mistral. Vale might be number 2 over Mistral. I don't know. But Vacuo would obviously be the weakest of the 4 kingdoms. But, you know, then they'd have also the strongest spirit of the 4 in terms of fighting this war for the better of their society, of their future. But, man, that's really interesting. Anyways, sorry about that. Let's get back into the video. 3, 2, 1, play.
Compromises that would ensure they'd never see the likes of it again.
Damn.
Faunus
we know.
Were awarded equal rights as citizens of Remnant. And as an apology, they were given an entire continent of their own to do with as they pleased.
Menagerie, the 5th continent.
There were some that saw this as fair and just, but many saw it for what it really was.
Isolating them.
A slap in the face from a nation of sore losers. And so Menagerie was born.
Yep.
There's still Faunus all over the world, though the fair treatment they were promised varies in quality from place to place.
Yep.
But Menagerie will always be their safe haven. Here's the thing, though. You can only push and prod people so much before they reach a tipping point.
Yeah, the white fang.
Pack those people together, it just makes it all the easier for them to get organized.
Oh, chills.
And get even.
Oh, there it is. There's the fang. Oh, chills. Do, 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 do. So that was the World of Remnant on Fanus, and I have to say, that might be my favorite World of Remnant. And I think it'll be blasphemous to say any World of Remnant was better than the Four Maidens, because straight up, technically, no. Of course not. The Four Maidens World of Remnant is the one World of Remnant that by itself, without this show, it would still be really cool if it was just its own thing by itself. The rest of these, you know, are pretty meaningless without RWBY, obviously. And you guys are going to say that's a bit ridiculous. But honestly, if you watch, I mean, I could, without any knowledge of RWBY, I would enjoy the storybook style and all that stuff of the Four Maidens. But anyways, lots of information. Between Kingdoms was a weird World of Remnant because we got really no new information. But we got a ton of new information in... I have a weird glare. Well, you're going to have to deal with... I don't know how that's happening, but I guess you're going to have to deal with this. But yeah, we learned that the Fanus... Okay, well, we learned, obviously, Fanus and Fanus make Fanus. Fanus and human make Fanus. Two different types of Fanus, random. And not random as in one or the other Fanus. It could be any type of Fanus, which makes... I guess it's the dormant genes within... the only way I can rationalize that is there's dormant genes of more species than just the one that is dominant in a Fanus, and those dormant genes, when met with another of the same type, you know, it makes things go crazy, which is the reason why if there's two dominant genes that are the same between a mother and a father, they make the same Fanus, if that makes any sense. That's really interesting. That's actually really curious. I like that, though. Besides that, I really think it's cool that we kind of we actually addressed the war in a very small. We only got one detail about the war that was new. Everything else we had already gotten from Oobleck's speech in Volume 1, trying to teach everyone, you know, in the Jean and Cardin bullying arc, the worst arc of the show. Oobleck explained the Fanus civil rights, you know, wars and all that shit. And how, you know, and so the Great War was Vale and Vacuo against Atlas and Mistral. Sorry, Mantle and Mistral. Again, we have to remember that Mantle... and the whole Mantle and Atlas thing. But if I say Atlas, you know I mean Mantle. But yeah, Mantle and Mistral on one side, Vale and Vacuo on the other side. Makes a lot of sense to me. Really cool stuff. I really enjoyed that. And they built up how the White Fang came to be. It came to be what it is today. And we can, you know, obviously the odds of their base not being in Menagerie are pretty slim. I mean, you have to think they're in Menagerie, which is why... While I do think this episode will obviously, because I did see that Volume 4, Chapter 5 is called Menagerie. I did see that on the site just now, so that just confirms what I thought going into this, that the next episode would be about Blake and Son in Menagerie. I mean, if there was ever any doubt, yeah, it definitely is the case now. But I think that also means we might get to see, maybe I'm hoping a little too much, but Sienna Khan and Hazel meets, and Adam should be there because Adam set up the meeting between Sienna Khan and Hazel, and it'll be interesting to see a member of Salem's Circle, Salem's Court, whatever you want to call them, Council, usually that's what I was calling them, yeah, actually doing something, because, you know, we haven't seen Tyrion yet. I know people think that we saw a tiny glimpse of him last episode, but we haven't actually seen Tyrion yet, and I don't think we will for a little while longer. I think it'll be, See, it's hard to judge now because we're almost halfway through the volume, as crazy as that sounds, and that's the thing. That's why I'm not mad about these World of Remnants. If we didn't have them, we'd be halfway through the volume by now. I mean, I'm just ready for Volume 5, I'm ready for I'm ready for Chapter 5, I'm ready for Chapter 6, probably a cliffhanger as fuck, Chapter 6, and then we can take a few weeks off for winter and then, you know, get into the grind of the final episode, the second half of the season. It should be fun. But I've been enjoying Volume 4, and this was one of my favorite World of Remnants. It's probably between this one and the Four Maidens. I mean, the Four Maidens one's better, but I think I personally like this one more. So anyways, Flame, and I'm not disappointed in the slightest. Like, this World of Remnant was actually awesome. Anyways, Flame and Shark signing out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I will see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace. Oh, sorry.